Hello everyone and welcome back to the 3T Path channel. My name is Giridhari and welcome back to our Uddhava-gita course. So we're here going through chapter 20 of the 11th canto, where Krishna is describing the power of bhakti. This is of course a recurring theme in all the literature, to understand the extra power that you get in your spiritual life from bhakti. It really makes a difference. We experience this ourselves, but the text kind of explain it why. We'll be seeing that here. And of course, if you want to watch all the previous classes of this Uddhava-gita course, you have to go to uddhava-gita.com and become a member of this channel, and then you can access all the classes. So here we are, we're in the 11th canto, 20th chapter, verses 32 and 33. Translation goes like this. Everything that can be achieved by karmic activities, fruitive activities, penance, jnana, knowledge, detachment, yoga in the sense of Ashtanga yoga, meditation, etc., charity, dharma, and other means of perfecting life is easily achieved by my devotee through loving service unto me. If somehow or other my devotee desires promotion to the heavenly planets, Swarga, liberation, moksha, or residence in my abode, he easily achieves such benedictions. So here we go. First thing. So there are many recommended means of purifying yourself, of becoming better, of self-improvement, even of self-realization. There are many means, many things you can do. So of course, charity, for example. It's a wonderful thing. It's there in all the scriptures, because when you give charity, you're letting go of material things. So that's making you less greedy, because we have the tendency to be greedy. One of the portals to hell, Krishna says, is lobha, greed. So when you give charity, you're directly minimizing your greed, because you're doing the very opposite of what greed is. Greed is to accumulate, charity is to give. So it's a very powerful way for you to become less greedy and of course also less detached. And so one of the other things is detachment, vairagya. So that's it's a famous path. You'd have, Greek philosophers and ascetic yogis and monks and nuns. So the whole idea of just letting go, detachment, just let go of everything. I don't want to have anything. So that's a wonderful way to elevate your consciousness, because again, we tend to be greedy. We tend to identify with matter, with our things. My car, my house, my favorite flannel t-shirt or something. So you start identifying with things. So when you're practicing detachment, you're kind of disconnecting yourself. So it's wonderful, very powerful practice. Karma. Karma here is in the sense of fruitive activities, which, what everybody's doing. Right, you go to work so you can get the money, and you get the money so you can get the stuff, you can buy this, you can pay the rent, so you work to get the fruit. You plant a tree so you can have the fruit in the future. So karma. So of course with karma you can get stuff, you can, do well for yourself by working. So working, tapas, penance also here in the list. Tapas just means a lot of things. I like translating tapas as grit. Tapas also, I like emphasizing the use of tapas in the sense of denying immediate gratification and choosing simply what's best, what's the most appropriate thing, choosing your dharma over kama. So your purpose over just a pleasure, a passing desire or pleasure, choosing purpose, doing your duty. So tapas means lots of things. But tapas, in the sense of a purificatory process, can also just mean penances. So they would do the famous penances. They would do 4 fires, one on each side, under the midday sun in the summer. And this is in India, so you can imagine. So that's a type of penance. Or you go to the river up to the neck in winter, of course. That's also in India, because if you try to do that, in the winter of some countries, you would just die immediately. But so you'd be like in very cold water up to your neck, or surrounded by fire. So it's also called tapas. That kind of like, it's also called mortification. So mortification, when you suffer, like the monks that would wear hair shirts, stuff like that. So tapas. Jnana, cultivating knowledge. Yoga. So when he says yoga here, yogena, by yoga, here is in the sense of mystic yoga, where the, Ashtanga yoga, where the yogis would meditate and use that power of meditation to achieve all sorts of goals and purify themselves. So by all these means, so here we had karma, tapas, jnana, vairagya, yoga, dana, which is charity, dharma. By all these means, these are all great. They're wonderful. And we do them too, of course. I'm always talking about dharma. We meditate, we do yoga, we do everything. If we're doing jnana right now, we're cultivating knowledge. We do the tapas, we do everything. But, he says, these things make your life auspicious. But by mat bhakti yoga, so by bhakti yoga to me, by practicing bhakti yoga to me, all of this, my devotee, mat bhakta, so he says twice, my bhakti yoga, my bhakta, the person who's practicing, my devotee, he achieves easily. He can achieve easily swarga, if you want. Apavargam, liberation from all misery. Or matudhamma, my residence in mat, my dhamma, residence, dham. So you can easily achieve. So all these things are great, but with devotion, you can easily achieve. And this is like a list of anything anybody could ever ask for, right? I mean, you could ask for it. A lot of people want to live in Swarga. That was the main focus of the popular Vedic religion. Because there's a mundane Vedic religion that you find in the 4 Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, but more than 3. So you find the popular Vedic religion, which was to worship the demigods. But what was the point? The point was so that you could accumulate enough good merit, enough good karmic merit to get entrance into Swarga. Because that's how it works. It's all it's like, tier, you have like those tier points, accumulate points in your credit card or something, or in some system, you accumulate points so you can get in somewhere, video games, you can use many points and then you're in this tier now. So that's how it works. You have like the karmic points. And if you accumulate enough karmic points, then you get into the Swarga tier. And everybody wanted to do that. Everybody wanted to have a nice life, be really good, and they would do all these yagyas. That's where the whole brahmanas and the yagyas would come in, because you would need the brahmanas to do the yagyas for you, to do the Vedic rituals. Because those would give you like tons of karmic merit. Tons. So like being a nice person is good, doing your dharma is very nice, but those would be like super accumulation of karmic merit. And so if you did those, then you would accelerate, then you would like guarantee you would get enough karmic points, karmic XP, you get enough like positive points so that you can now go to Swarga. So that was the goal. People had that goal. And that's why in Bhagavad-gita, when Krishna starts talking about yoga, spirituality, he says, Arjuna, forget that stuff. He has to forget that, we're doing something else here. I'm talking about something way different, you can't even compare it, because now we're talking about liberation. Not just getting good karma, because he says, what's the point? Because you would get all this good karmic point, then you get into the Swarga tier, wonderful, red carpet service, yes, please come, Swarga, very nice, amazing, everything's amazing. Amazing, like your body is amazing, everybody's body is amazing, free sex, amazing food. It's like so 5-star, like 5 million star service. But then what happens when you go to a nice place on vacation? It ends. Your vacation is over. You go to a nice resort, but then you have to leave. You run out of money. You can't stay, like, you work hard, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have a week vacation. And you work really hard to get a week vacation. But then that's it, you blow so much money, and then you have to come back home. So you blow all that money, blow all that good karma, of course, it would take millions of years, fine, wonderful, but then you'd have to come down and take birth on earth again. So Krishna says, what's the point? You just do that, and then come back, and here you are. You're a human now, aren't you? So, you probably just went there and came back. You're no better off now. So you need yoga, you need Bhagavad-gita, you need yoga, you need Uddhava-gita, you need Krishna's instructions, because that's something else entirely. That's about getting out of here. It's when you just get out for good forever. You break the cycle of karma, you break the cycle of birth and death. You're no longer subjected to birth, death, old age, and disease. You're no longer subjected to the miseries coming from other beings, miseries coming from nature, miseries coming from your own body. You're out for good. So this is the path of yoga. This is the path that Krishna came to explain to us. All the avatars come to invite us out of here. They're always saying, come out, come. Why are you here? It's so crazy. Why are you here? Come back to me. So come back to my Dhamma, Mat Dhamma. Come back to my home. That's what Krishna is inviting you to, come back home. Why would you deny this request? And it's so easy. All you have to do, look, it's so simple. He's not asking you to do tough tapas, not asking you to surround yourself with fire or stay in freezing water. And he's not asking you jnana to memorize, a million verses in Sanskrit. He's not asking for that. He's not asking for you to be able to do Ashtanga yoga and spend, 100,000 years, and they would spend thousands of, meditating, controlling your breath. There's this funny thing with Buddha's life, he got so sick of the whole breath control, he's just like, I can't take it. It was so tough, the whole breathing in and holding your breath, because that was pranayama. They would do all these, and then breathe out. I can't take it. He's like, I can't take it. It's so annoying. Because it is, you hold your breath, and they would hold their breath. Look at Prahlad Maharaj, he held his breath for 3 months or something. So very tough, painful practices. So no Ashtanga yoga, no difficult tapas, no crazy vairagya. He's not asking you to renounce everything. Jesus asked people to renounce everything. Krishna isn't asking you to do that. Jesus would say, let everything, give everything to the poor, and then come with me. First, give everything away. Can you imagine somebody comes, look, I've got a new thing going, but look, to start, to be part of our group, you have to give up everything. Donate everything you have. What, everything? Everything. Can I take a backpack? No. No backpacks. You can't take a change of clothes. No. Everything. Can you imagine? Just donate everything you have. All your possessions. And then you come with me. That's Jesus. Hardcore. So hardcore vairagya, Jesus. Very hardcore. But Krishna isn't asking you to do that. So kind. So no hardcore vairagya. Dharma, of course, you have to follow your dharma, but not like, it's just natural. So all this stuff, just bhakti yoga to me, mat bhakti yogena. Just be my devotee. Because what happens then? What's the strongest connection between two people? Love. Bhakti is love, is devotion. And what's spiritual life all about? Connecting you with God. So, if the strongest connection between two people is love, and the whole point of spirituality is to connect you with God, right? I mean, that's what yoga is, union, connection. So then, by connecting with love, that's the strongest connection. So then it's done. You had the strongest possible connection. That's it. You fulfilled the end goal. You see, that's why bhakti is so powerful. Because it makes that direct connection to the most powerful means possible, from soul to super soul, which is love. So with that, Krishna says, you can have everything. And if you want swarga, I can give you swarga. It's kind of like dumb, but I'll give it to you as well. I mean, if that's what you want. But it's really bad. It's like you had your chance and then you know. It's that story you always have of these Vedic kings. They would have special days, these Vedic kings, you know, the Puranic super kings. They would have special days where they would open the doors. I don't know what the rules were. They don't tell about it, but just say they would open the doors and people would come in and they could ask the king for anything. It was really like this rule. Like if you made it to here, I don't know what the prerequisite was to be able to get in line and to be there, but if you made it and you were in front of the king on that special day, you could ask for anything. And so we see in the Mahabharata, you could even ask for the king's head, and he would, it's like, okay, you know, he'd kill himself, and you could take his head. I mean, it was like anything. And so the story is, when these special days would happen, because it was a thing, can you imagine the person finally gets there, you're like this super powerful emperor of the whole world, infinite wealth, and you get there and you say, oh, can I have, you know, a handful of rice or something? Be like, what? I mean, you came all the way, you got here and, yeah, sure, there's a handful of rice. What an idiot. You could have asked for like a whole state. You could have asked for like mansions and, you know, a mountain of gold, and you ask for a handful of rice. That was your chance, you know, you were in front of the king. So I always remember these stories, you know, like, don't be that person. Don't, like, you were here, you finally had it. Oh yeah, I just wanted it. It's like, okay. That was dumb. Missed opportunity. So don't do bhakti yoga to Krishna and then ask for swarga. It's like, oh man, really? That was dumb. You know, so instead you can ask for madhyama. Go to Krishna's home, go back to Krishna. And of course the great saints, what do they ask for? They ask for bhakti, they ask for service. Please let me serve you. Please let me never forget you. When you see the prayers of all the great saints, it's always my one desire is to never forget you. Never leave my mind. They always want to think of Krishna because they're feeling so much love thinking of Krishna. That is the greatest desire possible. I always want to remember you. Because you know my mind, you know minds, you can't trust minds, so that's what I'm asking for God. Please let me always remember you. And then they would say, you know, let me serve you. So they just want service and they want to remember Krishna. Because that's the greatest thing, because Krishna, then you get Krishna. If you're going to ask for something, sure you can ask for Krishna's abode. It's wonderful. But what's even more wonderful than the abode of God? God Himself. So you can ask for God Himself. You can say, no, I just want you. That's the best thing to ask for. And that you'll get with Bhakti Yoga. And there's no way you'll get that with anything else. You can't get God's abode or God with any of those other practices without Bhakti, obviously, because then there's no connection to God. You're not even asking for it, so you're not going to get it. Right? You can't get something that you didn't even ask for, right? It's not going to happen. You have to ask for it. Krishna honors our free will. People complain, why is the world so horrible? It's free will. You do with the world what you want. He gave us the world. Well, don't complain that you're doing it wrong. I give you a beautiful car, you take it and you crash it. It's my fault? No. You crashed the car. So Krishna gives us a beautiful universe. What do we do with it? That's up to us. It's on us, not on him. So, but if Krishna honors our free will to that extent, it's like whatever. So then he's not going to force himself on you. That's not a very nice thing, right? It's very icky when somebody forces themselves on you. Like that's like the worst thing, right? No, you have to come to me, like Pepe Le Pew style. Like you don't want that. So God isn't like Pepe Le Pew or something. So he's not going to force himself. So you're not going to get God or God's abode if you don't ask for it, if you don't want it. So of course you won't get any of that without bhakti. But once you have bhakti, you can get that, which is the topmost thing, and everything else automatically, because Krishna controls everything else. So very important for us, very important point. Sorry I went on about it for so long, but I thought it was a very important point. Let me read the purport for you. Lord Krishna here reveals the transcendental glories of devotional service to the Lord. Although pure devotees are desireless, desiring only the Lord's service, sometimes a great devotee may desire the Lord's benediction to facilitate his loving service. In the 6th canto of the Bhagavatam, we find that Sri Chitraketu, a great devotee of the Lord, desired promotion to heaven, so that accompanied by the most attractive ladies of the Vidyadhara planet, he could beautifully chant the glories of the Lord. Similarly, Sri Shukadev Goswami, the great narrator of the Srimad Bhagavatam, desiring to avoid entanglement in the illusory potency of the Lord, would not come out of his mother's womb. In other words, Shukadev Goswami desired apavargam, or liberation from Maya, so that his devotional service would not be disturbed. Lord Krishna personally sent the illusory energy far away so that Shukadev Goswami would come out of his mother's womb. Because of intense loving desire to serve the lotus feet of the Lord, a devotee may also desire promotion to the spiritual world. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, a devotee having given up the independent cultivation of jnana and vairagya, knowledge and detachment, may have firm faith in the devotional service of the Lord and yet remain slightly attached to the fruits of jnana and vairagya. By expert fruitive activities, one gains residence in material heaven, and by cultivation of detachment, one is relieved of all bodily distress. If Lord Krishna detects within a devotee's heart a desire for such benedictions, the Lord can easily award them to his devotee. The word itare in this verse indicates visiting holy places, accepting religious vows, and so forth. Several auspicious processes of elevation are mentioned in the verse preceding this, but all the auspicious results of these processes are easily achieved by bhakti, by loving service to the Lord. Thus, all devotees of the Lord, in whatever stage of advancement, should dedicate their energy exclusively to the Lord's service, as affirmed in the 2nd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam by Sri Shukadev Goswami. Very beautiful verse. I've done a whole video just on this verse. Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udharatim tivrena bhakti yogena yajita purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire or desiring liberation must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead. This is a wonderful, very powerful verse from 2nd Canto, 3rd chapter, verse 10. Beautiful verse. So that's it. So that is the purport for this wonderful 2 verses. Verse 34. Because my devotees possess saintly behavior and deep intelligence, they completely dedicate themselves to me and do not desire anything beside me. Indeed, even if I offer them liberation from birth and death, they do not accept it. This is very difficult to understand. It's like, whoa, time out. What is this standard I'm supposed to achieve? So let's look at this. They dedicate themselves to me and do not desire anything besides me. What, nothing? Not even like a plate of food, a bed to sleep in, what to speak of, like, maybe a vacation and some nice movie to watch, or what, nothing? So this is very, very hardcore. This is like the perfection. But it's not as bad as you think. Because this desiring nothing but me, you still have to get about life. People, the great spiritual masters, they still do stuff. Vyasadeva is the compiler of the Bhagavad Purana himself, the father of Shukadeva Goswami, who spoke the Bhagavatam. Well, I just said it. He's the father. So wait a second. If he's the father of Shukadeva, he had a wife. He had a home. He ate. He took care. He helped the kingdom. He helped the Kurus. So you still do stuff. Look at Arjuna. Arjuna is a perfect devotee. He's right there with Krishna. Perfect devotee. But he wanted stuff. He had many wives. He had children. He had grandchildren. So that's what you have to look at. Because they would do these things with Krishna in mind, for the pleasure of Krishna. This is the key point. This is what makes it accessible. This is Bhagavad-gita. This is the instruction. This is what I always teach in the 3D path. Do your dharmas as an offering to Krishna. So then I can do the dharma of buying a house, or the dharma of having a family, the dharma of, starting a business, or being an employee, or you can do all these dharmas, the dharma of taking a vacation, the dharma of relaxing and having fun with a film or a video game. You can do all these things as a loving offering to Krishna. That's the difference. You do things thinking of Krishna, because that's what you want the most. That's what you have to get. The real difficult part is getting to this point where you really want to dedicate themselves to me completely. That's what you want. Completely dedicate themselves to me. And your priority is Krishna. I just did a video on this here on this channel. When Krishna says, a video on verse 55 of chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna lists all the things you have to do to achieve him. But then the second one is Mat Paramam, making Krishna the supreme. Your supreme goal, your supreme desire, your supreme objective. Krishna. That's the difference. That's the key point. That's when life changes. And Krishna is your supreme everything. And then yes, you have stuff. You need to buy clothes and food, and you want house, and you want light, and you want heat, and or air conditioning, and you want a car, and take care of your children, and pay your taxes, and help your community, and make the world a better place, and protect the animals, and you do all the things you do. That a good person, and all the dharmic things you have to do. Because that's what Krishna is asking us. When we perform our dharma, that is us serving God. Krishna says, service unto me. You serve me. What are you going to do? You've got this. Do your dharma. Krishna comes down. All the avatars, they come down to establish dharma. Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, I came down to establish dharma. That's why I came. Yada yada dharmasya. I came down to establish dharma. They always come down for that purpose. That is the purpose of all the avatars. Lord Ram, what's Lord Ram about? Dharma. That's all he's talking about. He's always like, that's the whole thing about, is dharma. Everything about Lord Ram is just focused on dharma. He is a perfection of dharma. The perfect dharmic behavior. His father gives him instruction. Okay, I won't be king. I'll take refuge in the forest for 14. Fine. Because taking instruction from the father, that is my duty. Not like, oh, but man, I was about to be coronated king. I was going to be the emperor of the world. Instead, I have to scrounge a living in the forest. He'd be materially, bummer, right? Terrible. But he's like, nope. He's just focused on dharma. It's fine. It makes no difference. Be king. As long as it's my dharma. And if my father is telling me, then he's the king, he's my father, whatever he says, that's my dharma. Perfect. Let's go. That's dharmic mentality. So Lord Rama is all about dharma. It's all about dharma. Dharma is the foundation of all spiritual life. So when you just perform your dharma, that is you serving God. So the difference is, can you do that for Krishna? Can you dedicate yourself completely to Krishna? So you're doing your dharma completely, that's amazing, but then you're doing it for Krishna. Do that as an offering unto me, Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita. That's where you've become a perfect devotee. And so, what happened to do not desire anything else besides me? Because you don't. You want to do your dharma for Krishna. You don't desire anything else. You don't desire to not something which won't be your dharma, which won't be for Krishna. You don't. That's not hard. Yeah, it's not hard. It's, you have to work a little bit. Depends what your state of consciousness is now. But it's not a huge ask. I don't think it is, at least. Because it's so nice doing your dharma. Your life becomes so much better. So it's not a huge ask to just don't do something sinful. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a huge ask. Because sinful things are horrible. They're bad for you, they're bad for somebody else, that's why they're a sin. So adharma is sinful. It's like something that would be sinful. That would be against nature, it would be against your nature. It'll violate nature. That's what it means. If you're not doing dharma, you're violating nature. It's something that's going to cause harm to yourself, to others. That's what dharma, adharma means, something that's... So doing your dharma is nice. It's not a huge... It's just smart. It just feels good. It's just taking care of yourself. It's why wouldn't you do that? So it's not a huge ask. Doing your dharma, kind of, and then just do that as a loving offering to Krishna. And then you don't desire anything besides Krishna, because you're always doing it for him. Okay, let's stop here. Let's stop here for now. Well, no, let's read the purport, and then we'll stop. The words, ekantino mama indicate that the pure devotees of the Lord, being saintly and most intelligent, dedicate themselves exclusively to the devotional service of the personality of Godhead. Even when the Lord offers them personal liberation from birth and death, the devotee will not accept it. A pure devotee automatically gains an eternal life of bliss and knowledge in the Lord's personal abode, and thus considers mere liberation without bhakti to be most abominable. So just so you understand, why does it mean he doesn't want liberation? This is the word, here interesting, the word is kaivalya, same word of the Yoga Sutras. But here is the concept of liberation without Krishna. Impersonal liberation. So we don't want that. The devotee wouldn't want that. It's not, again, it's not like very impressive, again, at least I don't think it is. To not want liberation without Krishna, and impersonal liberation, like who wants that? It's kind of like a spiritual suicide, my spiritual master explains, because you just cease to be. It's not very fun. Living without love, without beauty, without joy, without music and dance, which you get with Krishna. So that's the liberation that devotees reject. Now, of course, if Krishna says, hey, you want to come home, you want to come to me, you say, yes, you would immediately take that liberation. If the liberation means yes, going back home, back to Godhead, of course. You're asking me? Oh yeah, of course I'll go. Are you kidding? No, I want to stay here. No, of course I'll go. If you want me to stay here, I'll stay. Whatever will please you. That's the mentality. That's how I pray. That's how you should pray. Whatever will please you, Krishna. Use my life. What do you want me to do? Or kill me, or take me now. I don't care. Whatever pleases you. That's the real state of mind. I'm here. I want to serve you, so I'm doing this is my service to Krishna. I'll teach people about you, Krishna. If you want. If you don't want, there's something else, you show it to me. Maybe there's something else you want me to do, but I'm looking, because okay, I'll just do this then. Or you can just take me home now. I'm not attached. I don't want, oh no, one more day here. No, you can take me now. So that's the true state of mind we should have. So a pure devotee automatically gains eternal life of bliss and knowledge in the Lord's personal abode, and thus considers mere liberation without the loving service of the Lord to be abominable. One who chants Lord Krishna's holy name or superficially serves the Lord with the motive of achieving impersonal liberation or material sense gratification cannot be considered a transcendental devotee of the Lord. As long as one desires mundane dharma, artha, kama, or moksha, one cannot achieve the platform of samadhi, or perfect self-realization. Every living entity is actually the eternal servant of Lord Krishna and is constitutionally meant to engage in the loving service of the Lord without personal desires. In other words, without desires that are not aligned with God. This pure and supreme status of life is described in this verse by the Lord Himself. Beautiful, right? Beautiful, powerful verses. I hope you got some of that beauty and power of these verses. And have your rest of your day with lots of peace and lots of love. Hare Krishna.